Welcome back to Grizz Vision here on OUGrizzlies.com. My name is Neil Rule. We're here with Paul Rice. And Coach, it's wintertime, so you know what that means. It's track season, indoor track.
Yeah, it seems like winter came a lot earlier than it usually does. I mean, before the end of cross country, it was snowing. So indoor track is exciting for us. It's a great time of year for us as coaches to know that we're moving indoors. The elements become a lot less of a factor. Back in my college days, I wasn't a big fan of the indoor season as an athlete, but nowadays the athletes really embrace it. They look forward to it. Being able to train indoors and race indoors, and basically taking the environment out of the factors, so you can train your athletes to really race at a high level, and you know you go and race and there's nothing stopping them that day. There's no wind, there's no snow, there's no rain, and obviously being indoors we can be a little more consistent with what we're doing. So distance-wise, the races get shorter, so we start to see a little bit of different strength coming out of the athletes. But now all those athletes that didn't run cross-country, you know, our sprinters, our hurdlers, our throwers, our jumpers, they put a lot of time in this fall preparing, and now they get to shine. They get to go out and compete. And coming up this weekend, we get out to a couple meets and we just knock the rust off, basically.
And when you look at your squad this year, and I know how last year ended, there were a couple of guys that were banged up, especially throwers and things like that. I know the work because you see it. When you walk downstairs, you see the guys putting in the work. I know that they're anxious and they're chomping at the bit to get back at it.
Yeah, you know, the fall is a long season for cross-country athletes, but it's just as long for our track athletes because they're putting in their time. You know, they start out with a conditioning phase. They're lifting hard. They're doing a lot of sprint conditioning, and then you get into November and they're really putting in 20 hours a week of hard work, and they're really ready and preparing. They start to spike up in practice and get excited about getting on the track, and now the time has come, and I think they've done a lot of good work. We're very healthy from that standpoint. We have very few athletes that spend much time in the training room nowadays, so we're lucky there, and hopefully we can get on a good roll here. And our message to our athletes this week is, you know, like I said, we're knocking the rust off. We're getting out there. We're not looking for our best performances of the season first week out, but we've got to start somewhere. We've got to set a baseline, and this is the week we do it. We get a couple races in before Christmas break, then we recover a little bit and come back and get ready for a constant grind in January and February.
When you look at your program as a whole, and I know there's your go-to guys and your go-to girls that you have on the squad, what's something that maybe somebody has overlooked that you're really excited about that might be off the board a little bit?
On the men's side this year, we've got a really good young sprint group coming in. We had some good sprinters last year, but not the depth that we have this year. And a couple of those sprinters are also really good jumpers, which is an element we haven't had a lot of in the past. Obviously, we saw on the men's side with the way we ended with Gino Vitella in the spring, having a great spring, going to the junior nationals in the summer. That throws group has worked really hard and are going to build on that success from last year. But I think overall, our youth, I mean, we're the only ones that know how young we are. We're the only ones that know what kind of talent we have. And you look at our across the board freshman and sophomore classes right now, there's an amazing amount of talent there. So there's still unknowns for us as coaches. We work them hard. We think we know what they're capable of, but they've got to get their feet wet. They've got to get under those pressure situations and learn how to handle them. But early on, it's just a matter of us learning about them learning about us, and getting a feel for college competition, which is, you know, coming up right away.
All right, Coach, certainly do appreciate the time.
Thank you.
We'll keep tabs on you. We'll be back. Grizz
right.
Visions all season long.
I appreciate it.